Hey, good people, I just want to jump on here and show you guys how I cut my plants and how I prepare them to be propagated. So here I have golden pothos. I don't cut up. I cut up most of it, but I got a couple of pieces left, and I thought, hey, that would be a nice video to show how I cut and how I cut the tips, because the tips are tricky sometimes. They tricky, and you go to cut them and they die. So the lady I been watching, she be watching on YouTube. She cut hers off, and I don't like to waste plants. I mean, she don't like to waste plants either, and I don't mean no harm, but she throws that tip out because it's really hard to get it to root. But for me, I just leave two leaves on there. That's how I do it, and it worked for me. I'm gonna show you a plant in a minute with a tip that I did not cut off. Like, okay, here go a tip. Even though it's kind of shaped stranger than usually, because usually it's shaped a little bit different, but I'm going to leave those two leaves on because it just got a tiny node right here. You can barely see it. So I don't want to cut that one off when this is more prominent. This node might actually root. So I'm going to stick these in some water because I don't think it'll live in no dirt. I think that nub a little too small. But anyway, this is usually how the tip look. Oh, well, let me see. It's a lot of leaves going on here. But that's usually how the tip look. Okay. So let me cut some of these leaves off so we can see a little bit better here. So instead of me cutting all these leaves up, what I do is I just pull that last leaf. Oh, can you see? I'm sorry, I ain't good at this though. But instead of cutting it again, I just pull that leaf off and then stick this whole thing in water. That way I can preserve the tip. And then I'm gonna show you here a plant that I have already kept the tips on and what I do once they root. So I'm gonna flip the screen around so you can see this plant that I left the tip on, and just put it in water like that and let it root, and then I potted it. So I think button, okay. So I got the turnaround button here. So this is one that I didn't cut the tip off. See, and now, come on, focus. It's starting to open up. Come on, focus. Right. So see, it's starting to open up. So this long tip, instead of tossing this last end part, I didn't toss it. I just rooted the whole stem just like that. It had a node on the end of it down at the base. So I took it and stuck it in some water and left the whole thing whole like that. And then it rooted for me, and then it rooted for me. After it rooted, then I potted it in my potting soil, or some people use sand, whatever, they mix their own dirt and stuff like that. So whatever you want to do, and that way you can save the tip of the plant, because it is a little bit tricky to get those ends to root. But I have had success with just plain taking that tip. Don't cut it all away. Cut just right before two nodes. I usually leave two nodes, and then that one closest to the baseline, that's the one that I put in water. That way I'll save the whole entire thing. So I just wanted to hop on and say and tell you that, and how to save the tip of your pothos, or you could do it with that plant I showed you was a philodendron. But they kind of the same. They grow the same. Well, they have the same growing pattern, like they fan out and stuff like that. And also you can cut them the same way and propagate them the same way. And since you could do it like that, you could kind of treat the tip the same exact way. So I was just showing you that. I thought it would be cool to hop on, because people be confused about that and kind of try to throw those tips away. Don't throw them tips away. If they got a node on there, just stick it in the water, let it root, and then plant it up. So I just wanted to hop on and say that. So I'll catch you in the next one.